So Odanga, as a co-founder of the Leadership Excellence in Politics initiative, I'm really, really excited to know that you've agreed to join this newly established expert council, this cross-disciplinary council, which is really the next step in the initiative and what we're aiming to do. And I'd love to know, what made you say yes? You're not short of things to do. What made you want to participate in the council? And maybe if you could say a little bit about the perspective that you hope to bring.
Yeah, so I think what made me participate in the council is I found it to be a very interesting proposition with regards to the idea of just understanding leadership in politics, because I come from a side where we have largely been trying to think a lot about the structures that enable politics to happen. But, I think it's high time, especially when we consider the ideas of democracy being in decline across very many parts of the world, especially within what we like to call the global south. I put that, of course, in quotes. And when you think about the upheaval that we're seeing in various democracies in the world, we are very firmly at a point where I think we can firmly say that leadership is in crisis, and particularly political leadership is in crisis, and that there's a very steady rise in autocratic behavior, even from what we would consider to be the model countries that are supposed to be leading at the front of trying to deal with the various challenges that the world is facing. And so, there is a problem of leadership, and this is an interesting way to try and think about how to solve that problem. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And in terms of the perspective that you'd like to bring to the council, what is it you'd like to be able to share from your own work that could give us some insight into where we can make improvements?
Yeah. So I do a lot of things, but if I was to think about it, a large part of how I tend to think about the world is my job as an internet-focused researcher. So I'm a platform integrity researcher, and my role also as an independent journalist essentially is to, number one, interrogate power, and number two, interrogate the information ecosystems that enable power to act. Right? So in my previous role at the Mozilla Foundation, I was largely in charge of something we call platform integrity, where we were largely focused on questioning the tech platforms that have largely come to dominate the internet and how they affect the politics of countries that are far beyond where these companies were founded. Right? And what kind of problems is that likely to bring about during democratic processes or during very vital times within a specific democracy? So questions such as, how is the fact that information is now coming to a lot of electorates through social media feeds and not through traditional media affecting the politics that we have? Right? What does it mean when a YouTube star becomes president, if I was to put it in plain English, right? How does misinformation affect the dynamics of power and the dynamics of leadership, right? It's not just about being fact-checked and saying that something is true or false, right? What does it just do to the very nature of politics in itself? Those are the kind of questions that we're trying to tackle. Disinformation. What is disinformation a signal of, right? Instead of it just being a target of manipulating the public or manufacturing public opinion. What exactly is it? How exactly is it an exercise of power, right? Those are the kind of things that this kind of work that I have been able to build up and write very extensively about in various contexts allows me to bring to the table in terms of how we think about the nature of a leader within the 21st century. Because the truth is, there is no leadership, I think, within very many countries across the world without necessarily thinking of the internet and how the internet is going to affect your leadership, right? And how, the different algorithms that exist within tech platforms is going to deliver your message. So there is no politics without thinking about these ecosystems. Yeah. And then secondly, I come to this also as an African who mirrors the conditions, and particularly as a Kenyan for whom the conditions of my country mirror the condition of many other African countries and perhaps other countries in the global south, where we have an incredibly young populace that is underemployed or unemployed and is approached by politicians and leadership and leaders of other forms with different kinds of promises, which have consistently failed them and is likely to lead to some different types of repercussions that perhaps will be seen trending across the world in a few years. So it's those two perspectives that I bring in terms of how I think about it.
Yeah, and look, we're really excited that you agreed to join us, and we're really looking forward to the work we can do together and the valuable perspective and insights you can bring to the council. So thank you very much, Odanga.
Thank you.